You can stare at Jimmy for now. All right, actually, YouTube looks pretty good. There you go. Oh, and then our cat's gonna meow the whole time. So that's usually typical. Run this way. No, this is like standard convention stuff. I should just crawl under the table.
That's very typical.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us for our Small Press Expo Live. For our Instagram friends, we did the little sideways tilt because it just kind of frames us better. But we have, so I know it might be kind of annoying for like tilting it, but we have your comments right in front of us. So if you ask us questions, we can look at it and answer it. Oh my gosh, let me just grab our cat.
Not a common convention problem.
This doesn't usually happen at conventions, but you know, when you're doing it at home, you're gonna have an animal or two make an appearance. All right. So I think just to get started, I feel like a lot of people don't get to see you, Jimmy.
Really? I'm always here.
Well, not on Cuddle.
Yeah.
That sounds funny. Not on the Cuddles in Rage Instagram, just because I usually manage it.
Yeah, that's right.
But yay, I'm excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So the way this is gonna work, we are just gonna kind of go through some of the stuff that we've been working on this year. You'll see my eyes go to YouTube and to you, back and forth. Just know that's going on as well. And we're gonna talk about SPX memories. We have a whole stack of books and just things that we've gotten from SPX over the years from different creators. So we're gonna kind of go through some of that to kind of help promote our SPX community. And you know, again, if you guys have questions for us, ask away, we'll answer them. If not, then I told Jimmy, I was like, I'm gonna go through the frequently asked questions at conventions, including, I don't get what all this is. Can you explain it to me?
That's a good one.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's when we get about every other hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a hot one.
Less now. But let's go ahead and get, oh, yay, Ham Studio. Hi, says hi, Jimmy. Let me just open my drink here. Oh, and I'm also gonna go over just if you that sounds great. If you have never tabled at a Comic-Con before, SPX, I'm gonna go through some of the stuff that we've learned over the years. Number one, never put your drink where it can spill on your merch.
Nor on the table.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Although today, can I have it on the table?
Probably not today.
Okay, I'll put it on the floor. But yeah, there's just little stuff like that that'll it really makes a difference. Trust me, I have spilled plenty of drinks on merch before.
Oh, it happens to all of us.
And I think Keel's just gonna keep meowing. So
That's right.
all right, I think our biggest news for Small Press Expo, where we bought boxes and boxes of books.
Yes.
Would be sorry, our cat's like right here now. Would be Bites of Terror. That was a book that came out in March.
That's right.
At the start of the pandemic. And now she's going on Jimmy. Our little cat's right there. You can't wait. Oh, is he part of a cat?
There's one more table thing.
Yeah. And cat. You guys are sideways backwards in a good way. Thank you, Solemn Glumly. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we wanted to both fit in here.
Yeah.
So that maybe you could see less of the junk in the craft room. But yeah, Jimmy, so why don't you tell them about Bites of Terror?
Yeah, it's our full-length graphic novel. It's a horror anthology, all sculpted in polymer clay and put together with miniature dioramas. This cat.
We're just gonna let her go on the table.
Right.
This is what it's like when we have kids at the table and they're like stacking the mats. We're like, you do you.
Okay, you can look, but
don't hit the sculptures. This is also what it's like when some people visit your table. You're like, oh, okay, well, you just hold on here. Okay, continue.
Carry on. Yeah, so it's a full-length graphic novel. It's a horror anthology. 10 stories and a wraparound that we wrote. Yeah,
and it took us a year to make. So if you've been following us at the start of its release, and you might have seen some of our like making of videos behind the scenes, talking a lot about like our love of horror. So at Small Press Expo, that's typically where and Mocha, I think would have been the first one.
Mocha would have been.
Yeah,
Yes.
where we would have gotten to share our book live. So this is our way of sharing Bites of Terror with you. So, I should just throw out there, if you're a bookstore or anywhere else and you want to do like a virtual thing, let me know. We will do it without the cat or with the cat, whatever you're into.
Or just the cat.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am, are you gonna buy that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's some of the stuff that, we kind of didn't get to be. Oh my gosh, this is so, this is the real, we're recreating the real life experience for you. Excuse me, ma'am. She's like the person that we love talking to people, but is at the table next to you just talking away and then like knocking your stuff over. And we're like, oh, okay, excuse me. Ow!
On to the next table.
Yeah, seriously. So I think, in the SPX spirit, usually you'll rarely see me at the table because I'm always getting up doing something like I am right now. But I think we should go through and talk about some of our favorite SPX stuff that we've grabbed over the years.
Sure.
So start at the top. Yeah. Some of it's Mocha stuff too. And some of it's from people that we've just met over the internet or bought from over the years.
Start with those.
Oh, Alias Mystique. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, so if we were at SPX, we'd be taking turns walking around buying lots of other comics.
Yeah, talking to people at the table. Probably going over to a table with cats and petting cats.
Yes.
So I think I'll let you talk about him because you're his mega fan. I love him too.
Well, we always buy the new small book from Dustin Harbin, whatever it is. So here are a couple of his. I'm going to bring them closer in so you can see. This one's all lumberjacks, and this one has a bunch of tiny drawings. One looks a lot like the cat. But he's excellent. He's always there. We're always picking up his new annual piece. He does a diary comic, and usually there are new versions of that. And he also has a nice, which way to hold that, but a nice collection of those too. That's worth checking out from Koyama Press. Yeah, and I think that was this is my favorite thing that I've read from him. Like I love his art, but this book, it's really personal. And I think it's for people who are out there just starting out writing and they want some inspiration on like how to get personal and share a piece of yourself. I think this is a great comic to check out because you really do feel like you're going through a day in his life, or I think it's a year. Didn't he do it for a year? I think it's a year.
Yeah. So definitely check this out from Dustin.
Yeah.
I think Dustin, I usually I'll go up to Dustin's table and be like, will you do a commission for my husband? I think he did your Hellboy.
He did.
Yeah.
He's really excellent.
Okay. Oh, okay. So if you guys followed our my Tuesday little chat where I kind of showed you my favorite SPX comics, then I mentioned this one. I think I had it on my TikTok live, but this is from Caribbean. She is like one of the first creators that I met at Small Press Expo. She has the year in this book, then I'll know what year we started doing. 2011. I know it was. So this is all the way back in 2011, our first Small Press Expo. And I think this book, The Gremlins Movie Incident, is what made me fall in love with indie comics. It's a cute, weird, quirky little story. And then getting to meet Kara, the creator behind it, just really brought it home for me. And being able to see her year after year at the show, it just feels like you're getting together for summer camp. So go check out Kara Bean. She's Bean Doodling on Instagram. Ooh, okay. I think this is a piece from Mocha. Looks like Mocha 2015, possibly. I think maybe a little bit later. But this is Elderly Cat by Alison Wilgus. I hope I'm saying that right. I think we tabled next to her, but this is our cat right here that you've seen come in and out. She's 18 years old, so this spoke to me. And it's just a really cute comic. But I also like, this is what happens at conventions. You'll be like, look at this paper. It's got a nice like little metal sheen to it. And honestly, like those little touches on your books that you print, they really do make a difference. And so that caught my eye, and I really like it. Look at that.
A lot of love goes into these handmade things.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, it's like, you think sometimes people, maybe less now, but people think self-publishing, like, oh, that's inferior sometimes to being published. But like, to me, I'm like, it's not. It creates opportunities. It gets your work out there. You're not just like waiting for somebody to come and say, who are you? Here's $1 million. That doesn't happen.
Tell the story you want to tell.
Yeah. I think that even if you do get into publishing, you should still continue to self-publish. Just because you should always be creating for yourself.
Things for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can talk about that one.
But yeah, we bought a big stack of stuff from Nicole La Liberty and Justin La Liberty. So we bought these toward the start of COVID. Because we couldn't go to Mocha and we wanted some indie comics. And these are all pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think what made me, Jimmy was the one that introduced this to me, but what really stood out to me is their series on A League of Their Own, which is about female filmmakers. Yeah. And if you follow us, there are 2 volumes. If you follow us, then you know that like we love indie films, and I really feel like I'm gonna get Oscar crazy here. Female filmmakers get snubbed a lot at award shows. So anything we can do to like raise awareness. I feel like if you went to anybody on the street and you said, "Can you name a female director?" Most people probably couldn't, or they would name one and probably say it wrong. You know,
definitely. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no. So definitely go check these out, and I love that. It's just in this indie format, and that has a VHS on it. But here's Lynn Ramsey. Okay, yeah, go check out Lynn Ramsey. Oh, I didn't realize we need to talk about Kevin. If you haven't seen that film, like I reference that film all the time, which I didn't realize was, don't get near the sculptures. It was based on a book, but that film was disturbing. And then she has like a sneezy thing that she does. Get off.
That was a close one.
Yeah. Now you're getting like a day in our lives. But yeah, we need to talk about Kevin is so disturbing. I think you always hope that you don't meet a Kevin in your life. Yeah.
Can I give you this one? That's a good one.
You don't want to talk about this one?
I'd be happy to. She's amazing.
Every year I love to see Gemma. I see her at Mocha usually, but always at SPX. And so this is the Feminist activity book. And, I think it's Gemma at her best. This is all stuff that honestly, I think that I wish I had all my life, especially growing up and just kind of hearing the real side and with humor about growing up as a woman. And really, you can't think comics without thinking Gemma at this point. So
spectacular.
Yeah. Great. Oh, you should say hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
All right, let's do this one next. This is a collection from Tom Gauld that we picked up at SPX, and I don't remember what year that was. But he's pretty amazing. He does a ton of work. His stuff's out there. Here's the back cover. Really clean work, but I love his little details, his little lines.
Smart, really smart
Really
humor.
smart, yeah. Very funny stuff. Pretty great that he was here. We have to talk with him.
Yeah, I think that's what's beautiful about Small Press Expo is that, there are all these creators that you either follow on the internet or you have their books, and then you get to see them in person, and everybody is so friendly. Oh my gosh. I was thinking about the dog upstairs, like the guy that does the comic that I'm just fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Coffee, the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, in my head, that's horrible. But
this is fine.
This is fine. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because he has plush out on the table, and I was like, are you the one that made this? Because that's such a famous, I guess you would call it meme at this point. I think it's gone beyond the comic. And he's like, yeah, I did. And it's just so shocking. Because I think that sometimes we see stuff just in culture and we forget that there's a person behind it. I mean, that's why last night we watched In Honor, Small Press Expo, Feels Good Man. And that was a great, just kind of enlightening experience and reminder just as a creator and, you know, taking control over your art, making sure it doesn't go into the hands of evil.
Yeah, and you don't know where your art's going to go. That's
no,
the other thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think it reaches a point where it's not yours anymore. Like, I feel like our Banana Bread comic, I mean, you don't get tagged in as much, but we have a Banana Bread comic that, like, goes everywhere on the baking sites, and, like, every once in a while, somebody will know it's us, because I signed the bottom, CR. I didn't sign a Cuddles Narrate, just as, like, before I understood that you should, like, tag your work, because this is, like, when it first started all the way. I think that was, like, a 2011 comic, even.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's made the rounds, and then it's always really interesting. Like, we had one time somebody with, like, 1 million followers on Facebook post it, and then luckily somebody tagged us in the comments, and I wrote to that person. I was like, hey, do you mind just, like, saying who we are in your comment? Didn't hear back. That's so disheartening as a creator, because you're trying so hard to get your stuff out there. So I guess at that point, I've let go of that comic. If I see it somewhere and somebody, like, tags us and I say, thank you. But if I see it somewhere and we're not tagged, I'll mention it, but I won't get emotionally upset about it. Okay, this is one of our favorite creators, mostly at Mocha. I don't think she's ever shown at
Small Press. She should.
Yeah, well, Kim and Nikki. They always change their name, though. So sometimes Kim and Nikki, Kim Kiewit and Nikki Hung are Blood Bakery. Sometimes they've gone through a few different names. But anyways, they do really innovative stuff. So I was telling Warren about this. This is the Mobius.
Yeah. That's the Mobius Stone.
Yeah, so we've had 2 of these. One, our last dog ate. Yes. And then luckily they had it again the second year at Mocha. And we're like, can we have another one of those? Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. She does all kinds of inventive things with her work. I love how she puts these together.
Yeah, and I think it's a great example about, like, how comics don't just always have to be in book form. That they can really be in, like, any form that you dream up.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, this is another one from Kim and Nikki. Pain Pals. I think that's their latest name. They were Blood Bakery, now they're Pain Pals. They always have the best names. I like either name. But this is Cat Tender. This was a must-have for me. Let's just take a peek inside Cat Tinder. Lumpy, age 4. I think it says he likes midnight walks and cuddles, midnight walks in cemeteries, and the warm blood of prey. I would swipe right. I'm not on Tinder, so I think that you swipe right? Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
You can talk about this one.
Yeah, this is a little activity book they did. It's from Kim, actually, Paranormal Activities. It's pretty cool. She's got all kinds of little things in here, like the Spot the Difference game. There's a little finish this drawing.
Yeah.
Put some faces on these characters.
I've got hats from her too. They always have something different.
Whatever she's got, we're gonna buy it. Let me give you this one.
You know what I feel like right now? I feel like so oftentimes after we're done watching our movie for the night, we'll go to, like, YouTube, and especially since we're all, like, still kind of self-isolating, sometimes we'll watch people go through the Halloween aisle at Target.
Yeah, that's good.
But often, who's the couple that go through their Blu-ray collection?
Oh, the Movie Buff Pains.
The Movie Buff Pains. That's what I feel like right now. Because they can go through their collection for, like, a whole hour. And then you're just like, keep going.
We'll go on to other things after this one. We can come back to that.
Yeah. Okay. After this one, Okay. Oh, maybe after this one, we'll go through frequently asked questions or tips. I'll let you pick.
That's up to you.
Okay. So this is from another Alison. Wilgus. Yes. Sorry, I didn't realize. Sometimes you meet so many people. But this is A Stray in the Woods, and I believe this was based on. She told me about this. Ooh. Olivia Kamimi. Here's your. I love her work. Look at this shark.
It's awesome.
I always keep her work close. But this is a book that basically, I think she started off as a webcomic, and then she would interact with people, and they would tell her what the next part of the story was. So this is a collection of all those things, and I just thought that was really neat in an interactive way to tell stories. So go see A Stray in the Woods.
It's a good one.
Oh, your mom says hi, Keo. Hugh has
Yes,
left
yeah,
us,
she's
moved
out.
on to other things. Maybe you'll get to see Biscotti after this.
Maybe.
Okay. Let's go on to frequently asked questions. Oh, I did hear Biscotti come.
I'm gonna check on her. I get her.
Oh, now she's working. Okay.
Gotta go get that dog. You keep going. Why don't you talk some about what we would be doing at SPX and kind of what it's like behind the table?
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I actually have our little kit behind us.
Oh, cool. Coming.
So, I'm always doing that. I'm always pulling my pants up behind the table. Oh, wrong door. Here we go. Okay, so I feel like whenever you table somewhere, you always have to have like a little kit full of everything that you need in case of emergency. So, what do we have in here? You should always accept credit card. Unless you're trying, I guess some people only accept cash because they're trying to avoid taxes. Do what you gotta do. But I definitely think this helps with sales at this point. Oh, the dog is in here, so maybe you'll get to see her. I think you should always have a pair of scissors because you never know, especially with our work. You never know, like if you have to cut tissue paper for the sculptures. Hello, Biscotti. Or just oftentimes, honestly, we've had a lot of people ask for scissors. You should always have tape. You should always have gum. This is a huge thing. Like, you're going to be drinking lots of coffee, talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Always have gum ready to go. Sometimes mints if you don't want to smack on your gum. Oh, and you always need to have tons and tons of pen options.
Oh, yeah.
These are the Sharpies that we like. And everywhere we go to sign books, they use this too. It's an ultra fine point Sharpie. This is the best pen for signing because it dries really, really fast. And then you want to have pencils in case you want to like sketch in somebody's book and you don't want to mess up. But another huge thing is I always keep a notebook with me because people tell me notes. And they tell, well, I might have personal information with people, but they tell me notes and they tell me things to check out.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm constantly writing down what I'm learning because because at the end of the day, like you don't know. Right here it says SPX spider donut, whatever that means.
I like it.
You won't remember everything. You won't remember everybody you meet. But the best thing you can do after the show is if you have names written down, to try and reach out to everybody that you meet and just
look up work online.
Continue those connections. Oh, hand sanitizer is something that we typically have in here, but we took that out and used that
using that,
a lot. I also think you need a second square device just in case something happens to this one, because if you can't take money, then you can't make money.
That's right.
Is there anything else that you think?
I don't think so. That's
yeah, and I think just clear signage on your pricing and stuff, that helps too.
Yeah.
And post-it notes so that if somebody wants you to sign their book, I think it's easier to always have them write the names down and then put that in the book versus asking them to spell it. A, because I have used my ABs. A, because I have really bad hearing, really bad.
You're pretty good.
Well, I can hear, but then I don't process it.
It's hard to hear over the crowd.
Yeah.
Things, you want to make sure you get it right.
Yeah. And then also sometimes I get nervous. And so if you don't want to get nervous with whoever you're interacting with, then this is a good way to kind of focus on what you need to do because there's Scott C book over there that I pulled out at the very bottom. Over there.
This one?
Yeah. This is a great example. I mean,
This one?
Yeah. So usually Scott C's there. He hasn't been there the past few years. But the year that his book with Bob Dylan came out, he was talking to me, and then he just kept writing Z after my name. I think I have another one where it's more Z's than this. This is just 2 Z's.
I think he's having fun.
Oh, no, really?
I do.
No, I think one time he was like, oh, sorry, I just kept writing Z. I said, that's okay. But I love it because now I have that memory forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I do it. So if it's a really hard name, or sometimes like one time I didn't write down the name Bert and I did it B-U-R, but it was B-E-R.
Yes.
Yeah, don't let those get you.
Important to get the names.
Is there anything that I left out that you would?
I don't think so. Pretty good list.
Yeah. I guess one other thing that I would say is just try and be talkative. Typically, when we're working at table, we're usually standing.
Yeah.
Or one person gets to sit and the other person gets to stand, but never two sitters at once.
Nice that we can do that.
Yes.
Two of us.
Yes. But it just kind of opens, let people know that you're paying attention and that you're available to talk. One other thing that we do that I wanted to recreate here, but then we decided we're like, can we fill 2 hours of talking? Even I talk a lot, so I can't even do that. But I wanted to recreate what it's like to eat lunch behind the table.
Oh,
You're like all hunched over and hiding.
Sneak down behind the books.
Yes, and then when somebody comes up and talks, you're like, I was not eating lunch. I am here for you. But I think that's pretty much it.
I think so.
All right. Let's do frequently asked questions. And if you have questions for us on YouTube or on Instagram, we have our phone right here.
Yeah.
So we will check it out. Yes, I know we're sideways on Instagram. It's a bit both of us. So that we didn't have to sit together like that close.
That's right.
All right. Do you want to hit start or no?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hit Jimmy with the most frequently asked question.
All right.
Who's Cuddles and who's Rage?
It varies.
Well, it does, but then it does. It goes back and forth.
You don't think it does?
No, I think most of the time I'm Rage and you're Cuddles. I mean, personality-wise, and then also like the origin of our Cuddles and Rage came from us co-op gaming, and I would go in crazy and he would go in more strategic, which I don't know why that's cuddly, but
Sure, either.
I don't know. We were playing Army of Two. But I think it goes with our personality. I'm spicy. You're calm, collected,
Mild.
cute, sweet, cuddly, very cuddly. I'm spiky.
You're energetic.
Sure. Yeah. So we get that one all the time. And then it's really cute because everyone's always like, gotcha. Like they're always proud when they get it right.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
What's all this?
Oh yes, that's the different one. What's all this? So they're like, that comes up with another one. So then that's when we go into like, we're a mixed media comic. We tell stories through illustrations and we tell stories through dioramas. And I think that's really fun because then people lean in and they really kind of like soak in the dioramas and see how we tell stories in a very different way. I think having the mixed media angle has brought people to our table, which has been really helpful. And it's always nice to meet other sculptors and have them ask questions about the clay. We also get asked, we're getting likes. Oh, yay, hey, Chloe, what's up? Yes, spiky. I think we also get asked a lot, like, who's the sculptor and who's the illustrator?
Right. You're the sculptor.
Yeah, but he helps.
And the illustrator.
No, you are too. I mean, he does more of the character design. Like, I think you're a lot more creative on giving people personalities. Like, I can do it from time to time. But most of our best characters, like Middle-Aged Pig, and I think you mostly did Dr. Dakito. And the vampire guy that we have, we should give him a name.
He needs a name.
He does. I mean, so often we're like, Mr. Pear? We need Linda here to name it. Linda's always like one of our favorite people to see at Small Press Expo, who's Warren's sister. But yeah, so we do a little bit of both. But with Bites of Terror, like Jimmy did do a good chunk of sculpting because sculpting and making sets for 10 stories. It took up a lot of time. So it was one of those moments where it's like I needed to ask for help. So you did a lot of the cookies.
Yeah.
A lot of the toothbrush texturing. I think of like another question that we get asked a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guess because it's Small Press Expo, they're like, so this published? Well, I guess it's published.
Oh, right. What's self-published versus what's with a publisher.
Yeah. And that's where I think that, like, I personally believe, and then I'll let you talk because I'm sorry, I'm talking this whole time.
Go for it, yeah.
But that kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, even if you have published stuff, I think you should always have something that's self-published on the table, too. I think it just brings so much personality. I know that not everybody has time to do something like that. But to me, like, I think that's the spirit of Small Press Expo is just the DIY nature of just telling stories in every way possible. So you know, like these two books here, Snuggle Bites and Sandaconda. Oh, which Sandaconda was totally Jimmy. The and Donut Lotto.
Yeah.
You know, this is self-published stuff, and I'm so proud of it.
Diorama Story. That's the first one we told. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying it out and experimenting and seeing how it would work.
Yeah, and this is one that, like, when kids pick it up or they're near their parents, we're like, you might want to scan through that first.
That's another good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just when you're in a big convention where people are making their own art and telling the stories they want to tell, and a lot of them are really cute or bright, it's hard to know what's age appropriate sometimes. And even that is kind of particular to a family, what's age appropriate for their family.
It is. I love it when they're like, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you warned us? Seen it before. And I think we're a bit more on the sensitive side.
Yeah, we're pretty sensitive about it.
Yeah, I think because I'd rather be on the safe side than not censor.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. People should have the right to decide what's appropriate for them. Nothing on our table is too crazy, but we want to make sure that still people have different rules.
No nudity and no swearing. Oh, well, they're always naked. You know, I want to ask you about Sandaconda, because I think that's a cool working experience between both of us, where you had a big idea that when you pitched it to me, like we had to kind of work through that one in a way that I couldn't envision it, and I think it's a great example of bringing somebody else's idea to life, because I illustrated it, you wrote it. It's one of our favorite pieces. We have people from SPX come every year and talk about Sandaconda as it's like their holiday book. I think the one girl, she's probably graduated from high school now. I think she's in college. Yeah. One young girl came to us and was like, I read this every year in the cafeteria. We're like, thank you. I hope you took it to college. But yeah, how did you come up with that concept?
I don't remember how I came up with it, but and you were talking about the collaboration process on it, and it just keeps me thinking back on Small Press Expo and indie comics, where you can tell the story you want to tell when you're making these things. And there's all kinds of ways those stories get told. Sometimes you're working with another person like we are, or sometimes it's just something you do by yourself. Some people do ask people to edit their stories, some people don't. Some come through publisher. I mean, it's just all over the way people get their work out there. You know, this was a story that we didn't have a third party editing it. It was, you know, me writing it and then trying to talk you into doing the illustrations for it, and finding that creative balance together, because your input here is just there as much as mine is. You know, I mean, it was a collaboration between trying to tell the story of it and having you bring what you bring to it with the art. And so because there are just the two of us, you know, someone has to take the lead, I think, on any story when you're doing a collaboration, so that you can find the balance when there's not a clear answer. You can kind of have someone take the path forward. We trade off on that.
Yeah, like a thing that we're working on right now behind the scenes. He's the lead, and I think it really helps, especially for brainstorming and stuff. Like if one person gets stuck, then I feel like that's where like the lead can come in and kind of like know where to push it forward. I mean, not to say that you both couldn't do that, but it's just nice to have that weight lifted off of you. And you have that kind of partnership.
Yeah, that gets stuck.
Yeah, and I think that we made Sandaconda. I think we used GIMP, like the free software.
I think so. It was a free Photoshop type thing before we were into and you know, deeply in Photoshop now.
Yeah. So at the time, like we, you know, like I don't think that you always need to feel like you have to have Photoshop or really fancy things to make art. You should just see what you can find for free, or you know, just use pen and paper. That's still just as good.
I mean, that's the process we went through on this one. You drew these on paper, and then we scanned and did digital colors and
on the free software. Yeah. So I'm really proud of that book. I know that we've had a few people ask us to do like animation with it. So that'd be fun to do. Oh, this is just my random cry. Like if you say it, put it out there, it might happen. If anybody like in the comments, if you've seen, I just found out about this yesterday, Cake on FX. That seems really cool. I I have to watch it, but it's basically a show where you have like all these like little bites of shorts, and some of it's live action, some of it's animation. It's like, oh my gosh, I would love to do something for them. So yeah, if you have any hot tips, DM me, because that's definitely like, we love doing books and we love telling stories and we love doing animation. I think that kind of rolls into like the whole mixed media vibe of something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how can I tell a story in a totally different way?
Right.
Yeah. What's got a notification?
No.
Yeah.
Excited.
I know.
Thank you.
What are some other like, or where are some moments?
Some moments.
Yeah, I have one, but I don't want to fill in.
Okay.
No, you go ahead.
You got something.
Okay. I gotta say hello to Rusty and Joe.
Yeah.
They are Small Press Expo royalty. If you want to feel like you're living the experience of being at Small Press Expo, then go to the Small Press Expo YouTube, and you'll get to see their interview with like hundreds of creators.
Mm-hmm.
And like, comics are in their heart.
That's true.
I've learned a lot about that. I've been on their show a few times, but then I even like sent young children their way. Now, why did you send this like 5-year-old to be interviewed? I was like, because why not?
Well, they love comics too, and they should be able to speak from their perspective. I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I feel like I'm just talking the whole time. I don't want to.
Well, you planned out the event.
I know, I did plan out the
what
event. Okay, what else do I have? I guess I would say that another piece of advice. I'll ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think you should put all your stock out, like, it's, you know, like if you have like 20 books or whatever, 30, all on the first day, or do you think you should pace them out on Saturday and Sunday?
Oh, I don't know. You mean new release stuff? Or
yeah. Or yes.
I mean, it's all how you want to share your work. It depends on. That's really even item to item, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you want to have something new every day that you're working on the night before. Sometimes trying to get everything done.
Guilty.
Or maybe you just want to do that because you have a flow of people coming through and you want to make sure that the people who are there all weekend have something different to look at the next day.
Yeah.
It really depends, I think.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like, I think you get really happy though for your fellow vendors whenever they're just like sitting there chilling. They're like, oh, I sold out. You're like, oh, that's good. Bring some of it to my table. Let's go through our stack a bit more.
Okay. Yeah, I can do this one.
Ooh.
I
don't think we bought this at SPX.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I know, but this is Zach Gorman's Magical Game Time. I love Zach Gorman. I love that he went into middle grade writing too. And he was like one of the first people that I caught on to doing video game humor.
Yeah.
And doing it well. I have one of his prints. I have 2 of his prints above my desk upstairs. One of his Mario ones. But I think, didn't he just recently say he's getting back into comics?
I mean, he's talking about that.
Yeah. I hope he does. But, oh. And then you find secret notes. I'm like, I have no idea what this is from. That's what's fun going through your old books. You're like, oh, what does that even mean? But I love Zach Gorman, and he's the person I'm like, how does he not have like an animated show right now?
Yeah, he's
awesome. And I liked meeting him too. I remember one time he bought a magnet from us, and that felt really special. You're like, oh. And then at that point, you're like, I know you. You might not know me, but should I tell you that I know you? Sometimes I do it. And sometimes I creep people out by doing it. Okay. I bought this book after SPX because I couldn't leave my table to go see Lisa Hannawalt. Of course, you know her with BoJack Horseman and like, is it Bert and Birdie? I always get wrong. Her latest animated show with Netflix. But this book is hilarious, and of course, you know Lisa's hilarious, and the way that she talks about food speaks to me, and I love that you can like already see her characters in here. So I was bummed out that I couldn't go and talk to her personally, because I think that was right when BoJack had just come out. But her art style is one of my favorites, and I think she even has some of her sculptures in here. Sometimes I think she'll sculpt hands. So go check out this book if you can.
All right, let's see. Do this one. This is Heaven All Day from John Mart. He's always at Small Press Expo, and sort of again someone with really cool, clean lines with great textures in their work. I love how he works over sequences like this page with the robot, just sort of showing a routine in a single spot. Really awesome piece.
Yeah, I like how it's like simple yet complex.
And that was from 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, I think our first year at SPX, we probably spent more than we made.
That's pretty much every year.
Oh, you gotta go to the top one.
This one?
I missed this guy. Yeah. Well, you can talk more about Ollie Moss. I think that was the first year at Small Press Expo where you had Ollie Moss, you had Kate, I think it was Kate Beaton was there, and Mike Mitchell. There was always like the cool table, and like, one day will I be near the cool table? And Dustin Harbin was fine. Dustin Harbin's always by the cool table. But it was really, really neat to have Ollie Moss there, especially since he's overseas. And I was so thankful that we have a lot of his early pieces. He's one of the most like innovative, what do you call him, graphic designer over everything?
He's definitely a designer for sure.
But yeah, over anything. He's definitely a guy that gets ripped off a lot and has a good attitude about it. But this Silhouettes, I think this was from his Gallery 1988 show. Was that from that day? Yeah, it's just so smart. And I don't know if you can find this book anymore.
Yeah, not sure.
But it teaches you so much about simplicity and drawing and trying to make sure that the character that you're making is recognizable.
Yeah.
Even the fact that you can tell who these people are, their silhouettes, like this is Back to the Future. I'm sure you could, if you didn't see that already. And they don't have the names at the bottom. You just know who they are. Oh, did the books get dirty? Oh no, we just found that our book's dirty. This is Harrison Ford versus Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
Really, he's simple but clear and pretty great.
Yeah. Can't talk about comics without talking about Reza, Poorly Drawn Lines. The one time I could have met Reza was at Mocha, but I got food poisoning from AwesomeCon, and we actually had to cancel. It's the only time we've canceled a showing. That would have been the time that I could meet Reza, because I interviewed him. I think, his popularity was growing, but I think that was before he really took off.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Reza. I think he's smart. He's a great person to talk to. He's so supportive of the comics community. And it makes sense why people, I've seen more and more comics over the years, adopt his style. And it makes sense of why, because there's a level of simplicity to it and reflection. And I like that I think he said this in our interview. I don't know if it still holds true. I assume so, but most of his jokes are pretty evergreen. They're timeless. And I think that's the best way to write comics, is to make sure that, 10 years from now, you could still laugh about it. And that's what's unique, especially as stuff comes out on the news. He somehow is able to comment on what's going on, but then also know that same sentiment would last a good decade.
Very smart.
Yeah. This is when I learn. I'm like, I don't take care of my things.
Oh, that's not from you. We got these all jammed in on the
we do. Okay.
overpacked shelf.
This is a comic from our dear friend Pat Kelly, which is cool to say because we've never actually met Pat in person, but he's definitely one of our closest comic friends. I think that's just how the community online works. You get to know each other over the years. And I think the coolest thing about this comic, which is Fedor, is that we got to pick it up at our local comic shop. We got this at Third Eye Comics. Mm-hmm. I believe so. And we're going to take a picture of it at Third Eye. I can't remember. Anyways, I was very excited to see it at our local comic shop because it's cool to see your friends in the store. Maybe we bought this from him directly. We bought it directly because it's personalized. I don't know how personal, so maybe I won't cover it, but he always draws in it. But I've always talked to Pat early on because of his mixed media nature too. So when we hold this up, like I love his sculptures. I don't know if he sold his Shining Twins one.
Oh, I don't know.
Probably. But then I also love his art style. And he has like another series that I should see what I'm showing you before I just show you. They're in bed, but they're not in bed. What his other series? I'll have to talk about it in the notes, but he has this one comic series that I think should be turned into a show right away. I tell him that. Okay. This is Abby Howard, and I've also interviewed her. I think I haven't gone through this one yet, but I've gone through the last Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And I love discovering Abby Howard because it was through Penny Arcade guys, and what was that called? They had a YouTube show that like basically was all about webcomics. Yeah. And they have a great episode on tabling and what you should do or shouldn't do. And they even had they went around and like pretended like knocking over people's stuff on the table and like how you'd react. Yeah. So that was a really good lesson there. But I fell in love with Abby through that show. She's a great personality, really funny. And I'm not going to spoil how it ended. But I think that how she stood out is because she had such a unique voice. And at the time, she wasn't working in a digital format. I think she was the only pencil and paper artist on the show and was still killing it. I love that.
Kind of covered that one. I guess this one.
Oh.
Got it?
Yes. You can't talk about Small Press Expo without talking about Warren Bernard, who is the executive director of Small Press Expo. And he also is a huge comic collector. And he publishes books, a lot of times like on the history of comics. And so this is his book, Cartoons for Victory. Which basically goes through, I think it's always is a World War II. Yeah, World War II comics. It's very heavy. It's very thorough.
It's a great book.
And his commentary in it just shows his genius and how well he knows the field. But I also love the fact that here you can have a guy who's not only kind, but knows the history of comics in and out, but then is also in tune with new creators and always being supportive of them, which I think is really important. So you can get this book online. I'm going to work out with it later. I think maybe let's take a second to talk about some of our picture books.
Okay, sure. Want to start with these characters and they're in this one?
Yeah.
I'm going to over to you.
Okay.
Slide.
Yeah, so we did 2 picture books with HarperCollins. They're kind of in a sweet series. So this is the second one, Sweet Success. And these guys are actually in the book. I'll go to their scene. But that was really fun. When we signed a deal with HarperCollins, we had to learn a lot about making picture books. And just how to tell a story that is complex yet simple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, this page might. There's the pair. Yep. So here's the pair, just to kind of show you the scale. We try to always have stuff on our table so people can kind of see that like what's in the book and what it looks like, to actually hold it and touch it. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times, sometimes we've had people ask us if it's like computer generated.
Yeah, this helps.
You get a lot of that.
It helps with the question you talked about when people are trying to kind of put together what we're doing, since it is varied. Mm-hmm. It helps a lot to see in person the scale of things that we're doing.
Yeah. But I think what I love about making this book, I love the fact that it's about ice cream.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a hit with kids who love ice cream. I feel like if you want something that will grab people's attention, either do it about a banana or ice cream, and then you're set. But I always get the first line stuck in my head. It says like, "Why pick flowers when you can make them?" And it made me feel really guilty this year in our garden when I was picking flowers. Like, should I be making these flowers? I mean, I guess kind of I planted the seeds, so did I make them?
Yeah.
I think that counts. Oh yeah. We keep the table organized. That's kind of like what Jimmy's best at when we're working the table.
Tidying up.
It's just making sure it's tidy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this.
A lot of that.
A lot of
dusting.
or sometimes like if it's slow and nobody's come to your table for a while, then you just like, pretend like you're cleaning out to make it look like you're busy. You're like, oh, the name's a little cleaning. I think one of the funniest memories that I had from Small Press Expo, I think it was our first year there.
Yeah.
Was when somebody found our business card on the floor. And then they picked it up and they were like, I think this is yours. And we're like, we don't really want it back. Like, you didn't need to tell us that.
But thank you. Yeah.
Yes. We appreciate the thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens, though. I mean, there's so much little stuff everywhere. Everybody has a business card. Hundreds of tables. People are walking with stacks of things.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I guess a question for you, for us, like, we've been trying to do conversions online, so we did like a little Comic-Con week. We're doing a Small Press Expo weekend. How do you think this is going to change things in the future
for conventions?
Yeah, you think it will at all?
I mean, I hope we can get back to that place. It's one of the best things we do all year is going to Small Press Expo and being the person walking around with the armful of books and just meeting people and seeing their work. I really hope that comes back very soon.
I know, I hope so too. Do you think, I guess the one thing that I think about is I feel like some of the panels might be maybe life's, I guess like ruins the exclusivity. But I really like the fact that with stuff now, like Comic-Con, like that's a place that we've never been to, but we got to experience it with the world. Now with Fantastic Fest, usually after Small Press Expo, we go to Austin. And we're there for like a week and a half watching movies for Fantastic Fest. So like that's going to be free. Yeah,
that'll be online a little bit, so we get to see some things there.
Yeah.
But it's still not the same. The community is so important, and it's going to take time here. But I'm looking forward to having it all back.
Me too. And that's why I feel like if you're a comic creator or you're just getting started, like always feel free to write to us and ask questions. Like, I think it's important to be a resource for your community.
Yeah.
So never hesitate to reach out because I know that we learned a lot just from asking questions from other people. Well, I guess since we're winding down here, I have a question, a couple more questions for you, Brenton. What is the number one? Oh, another question. Chloe, do we travel with all of our books? Yes and no.
Yes and no. We're usually the weirdos trying to carry some heavy box onto the subway or in New York when we're going up there.
Yeah, you always end up sweaty. So we've done that a few times with like a trunk, but since then we've shipped our books up.
Ship what we can,
to Mocha.
And then ship them back. And a lot of times we're getting in and then showing and then leaving immediately after. So a lot of orchestration.
Yeah, so usually we'll ship our books up there and then we'll say, you better sell this or else you're going to have to carry it on the train.
That's right.
And usually it works out.
Yeah.
But with Small Press Expo, it's so special to us because it's like in our backyard.
It's so much better.
20 minutes away. So it's so close that like I usually leave in the middle to go check on the animals.
Right.
And then come back. So that's not a problem there. But yeah, we usually try and ship.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I don't think I've done that with the sculptures. I think our situation is a little bit unique because our packaging is so bulky because we like to bring our sculptures there too.
That's right.
And that's not always super easy.
Yeah.
Because then you have to bring like the packaging for it and the boxing. So but thank you for the question, Chloe. So my question for you is, what do you, I mean, you might have touched on it with like the people, but what do you miss the most about the show outside of the people?
I mean, it's just all the art. I mean, because at a place like Small Press Expo, you were talking about this earlier, that you're looking at somebody's art and you're like, oh, is that published? And that's an important question there because people have very, very, very professional work looking things that were self-published. And sometimes it's hard to tell if you're trying to understand the scope of what's in front of you. But you have people who have that kind of work that are sitting right next to people that are there for the first time. And you have the tables from the colleges that are there, like Micah. So people who are showing their work maybe ever for the first time on a group table where that rotates. So just being able to walk through that and see everyone's art and all these amazing so many personal, unique stories in such a cool art form.
Yeah.
Those art forms vary. Just every table is another cool thing to look at and story to hear about.
I think what I liked about that too, when you're saying that, I was thinking about like our times at MoCA and at Small Press Expo, and I thought about Family Bed, the comic Family Bed with I forgot the artist's name, but I think what I especially like about it is that you have people from all different age groups telling stories.
From many places in the world too.
Yes.
Like international guests.
Yes, from all over. And so the stories, like, they're never the same. They're never from the same perspective.
Right.
I always think it's funny that you can kind of, especially in the New York shows, and I see it too in Bethesda, but you can always see what's trending.
Right.
Like we knew corgis were hot before they were hot. We saw the llama trend before everybody got on the llama train.
The cactus trend.
And there was the banana trend.
Yeah.
Which is always going. People were wearing tons of banana shirts.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, we won't get to see what's like the new banana, the new corgi this year.
Yeah. I don't know what this year's corgi is.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll probably be the corgi or the Shinu. How do you say it? Shinu. Am I saying it right? I don't know. I just know that our dog has a girlfriend that she walks by.
Yeah.
They always try and jump up and see each other. It's really cute.
Yeah,
so I guess I'd have to say, wrapping up here, I just have to say thank you to Small Press Expo for having live panels this year.
Yeah.
For always supporting the creative community. Thank you so much to MDT and to Warren and to Linda. Yeah, and to Sam Marks for just kind of supporting us and supporting everybody. I feel like without them, a lot of people would maybe create once and then never again. But when you have a community of people, then it keeps you going.
It's true.
Like we have for 10 years.
Yeah.
A decade.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah. I guess, there's not a word for 20. I mean, besides the word 20.
Double decade.
Double decade. Yeah, one day we'll hit the double decade. And then we'll have to let ourselves sit the whole time. I think we deserve it at that point. So thank you so much, guys, for spending time with us. Yeah. We appreciate it. I wanted to do this table because I didn't want us to get rusty. Yeah. I didn't want us to go a year without tabling, and then when it would come back around again, I think, just like not knowing how to do it.
That's right.
I would just completely forget.
Keep us on our toes.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had the cat recreate the customer experience at the beginning. If you missed that, I'll save the video. You can go check out the cat. She really made us work for our money at the start of this. So I just want to say thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. And since we weren't at Small Press Expo, go check out Bites of Terror. That's our latest book. That's our baby. Yeah. That's the baby that we were going to show off at Small Press Expo.
That's right.
But we'll just keep showing off Bites of Terror online forever and ever.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Now I'm going to get up an awkwardly hit end. First with you, YouTubers. Thank you for watching. Bye. Oh, the dog's sleeping in here. That's cool. Goodbye.